After the Williamson pick, Samardzija, Brett Gardner, Zach Cozart, Mark Teixeira, C.J. Wilson, Michael Morse, Brett Anderson, Josh Reddick, and Eric Ibar were selected. And there went Mike Moustakas. I like that pick. That's a nice one. We're now looking at outfield. Guys in the... I'm not looking at steals, guys. So guys that are jumping out at me for this team are Jason Kubel, Chris Davis, Nick Swisher still, Corey Hart even as maybe a DL stash would be fine. And there's also guys like Jason Worth, Michael Kadire, Adam Eaton, Brandon Moss is still way down there. So I'm going to wait on outfield. Catchers, I've still got Rosario and Perez available. Between now and my next pick, there is one team that doesn't have a catcher. So it's possible he or she will snag either Rosario or Perez. But again, I can wait till my next pick to decide if I want to pull the trigger on one of those guys. So I'm looking at pitchers again. There's, I guess, as far as middle infielders go, it's kind of a doesn't really matter who you take scenario. Alcides Escobar, Dan Uggla, Everett Cabrera, Josh Rutledge, and some of the other guys are all available. I'm going to wait. Select another pitcher here. My highest ranked guy is Mike Minor, but a guy I really like is Matt Harvey, and he's a little higher up in the ESPN rankings, so I'm going to take him and hope to get someone else I want in the next round. We're back. After Matt Harvey went Alcides Escobar, Adam LaRoche, J.J. Hardy, Nick Swisher, damn it, Jason Greeley, Chris Davis, Chris Perez, Wade Miley. No catcher selected, so we're going to wait on that position. And I'm thinking about a middle infielder here. Dan Uggla is available and a good source of power at middle infield, but that batting average is really a drain. I think I can wait. I'm interested in Josh Rutledge, although if you look at his split stats from last season, every month he got worse once he got called up to the majors. So I think I'm going to wait here. We'll look at pitchers again. I'm pretty sure Mike Minor's still there. Yep. My top ranked guys are Mike Minor, Brandon McCarthy, Alexio Gondo as far as starters go. Relievers available are Brandon League, Ryan Madsen, Grant Balfour, Glenn Perkins, Kenley Jansen, Steve Chiswick, Sergio Santos. I like all of these relievers pretty equally. So I'm thinking about taking another starter here. And that would either be Minor or McCarthy. Minor has finally made his way up to the top end of this ESPN overall rankings as far as pitchers are concerned. But actually, you know what? I'm going to take Brandon League. We're going to load up on closers, just like I said I was going to earlier. I might need to handcuff that pick with Jansen later, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Here we are back for round 19. It's our pick. Ben Revere, Pedro Alvarez, Alfonso Soriano, Dan Uggla, Mike Minor, Manny Machado, AJ Burnett, Daniel Murphy, Homer Bailey, and Grant Balfour have all been taken since my last pick. And I'm thinking about a middle infielder again. Everett Cabrera seems like the best value here, just in the sense that he's the only one here who can put up elite stats in any one category, and that would be his 40-plus stolen base ability. He's definitely on my radar. The catcher thing is still up in the air. There's still Rosario and Perez both available, so I'll continue to wait. As far as pitchers are concerned, because Minor went, the top-ranked pitcher on my board is Brandon McCarthy. There are a few other guys I like here. I do like Ogondo. Not a whole lot of other starters I'm really excited about this low in the rankings. I do like Hisashi Iwakuma to some extent, and Tyler Skaggs and Trevor Bauer both have clear upside. Whether they just realize that upside or not this season is yet to be determined. Of the closers available right now, Sergio Santos is actually the guy I would want the most. But with that said, there's so many closers still available that I don't want to make that pick right now. So I'm going to take Brandon McCarthy, and yeah, we'll catch you for the next round. Oh, welcome back. I just realized I've been kind of getting lazy here, and I made a bit of a mistake. I stopped looking at what players not at positions I was interested in were going. Since McCarthy got taken, Matt Harrison, Jason Kubel, Kenley Jansen, Ryan Vogelsong went, and then Todd Frazier went, and he's one of those guys I'm kind of all in on this season. He had a pretty good year in limited time last year, splitting with Scott Rowland for the Reds, and he's a guy I really like. I've been targeting him in all of my drafts, and I would have taken him there over McCarthy if I had been paying better attention. So take this as an advisement, I suppose, for your own drafts, is just because you're focused on getting a certain number or a certain position or positions with your upcoming picks, don't forget to look at what else is out there, because you might miss something that you really want. After Frazier went, Ichiro went, then Kendrys Morales, then Marco Scutaro. I should also note that in Yahoo leagues where Adrian Gonzalez has outfield eligibility, I could have considered Konerko my first baseman and Adrian Gonzalez my fifth outfielder, and then that utility spot would have been open, which is where Todd Frazier would have slid right in. Typically when I'm drafting, I actually write down my roster with pencil on a piece of paper as I'm drafting to keep those things sorted out so I can move the players around, as opposed to something like this interface where once the player's in a position, they're locked in. Anyway, back to the lecture at hand. We're looking at an outfielder, a middle infielder, or a pitcher, or I think we're going to keep waiting on catcher. I think now's the time to jump on Everth Cabrera. I don't want to make the same mistake I just made with Todd Frazier, get cute waiting around. So yeah, we're going to take Evercab and look for an outfielder or another pitcher next round, unless Perez or Rosario gets taken between now and my next pick, and we'll rejoin you then. Okay, welcome back. I had a bit of a brain fart there. Forgot to start recording again once I was ready to make my next pick. But after Everth Cabrera went, Jeremy Hellickson, Ryan Madsen, Lance Berkman, Norichika Aoki, Alexi Ramirez, Alexio Gondo, Corey Hart, Mike Adams, Derek Holland, and Willen Rosario were selected. With Rosario going off the board, I went ahead and picked Salvador Perez. There was one player left in the draft who did not have a catcher, and so I didn't want to get left up the creek without a paddle, as it were, on catcher, because Perez was the last guy who I'd really be excited about rostering. Other guys I wouldn't be upset about owning are Jonathan Lucroy, AJ Pierzynski, and Carlos Ruiz, and even Brian McCann to an extent if he could happen to bounce back, although I'm not a believer this season. Anyway, now that I've got Perez, I have an outfield spot and 3 bench spots to fill. I'm going to prioritize that outfield spot, and I'm looking at Brandon Moss mostly. He's the guy I want. I need to add a little bit more power to this lineup, and there's still enough closers left that I think I can wait another round before getting a guy like Glenn Perkins, Sergio Santos, Carlos Marmol, Bruce Rondon, etc. After Perez was taken, Fowler, Coco Crisp, Justin Morneau, Jason Worth, Diane Viciedo, Ryan Dempster, Steve Chiswick, and Kyle Seager were all selected. I'm going to take, Brandon Moss, and next round we'll be targeting Sergio Santos. 3 rounds left, 3 bench spots to fill. After I took Brandon Moss, Glenn Perkins, Tommy Malone, Carlos Marmol, Kevin Youkilis, Will Middlebrooks, Josh Beckett, and Emilio Bonifacio were all selected. And there goes Trevor Bauer and Jaime Garcia. 1 pick left before we're up here. I like the Bonifacio pick. He's a guy that just has such incredible speed that even if he doesn't have a full slate of playing time, he'll still be a valuable stolen bases commodity. Looking at the hitters still available, just because I don't want to gloss over anyone like I did with Todd Frazier. Guys I like who are still available are Kadire, Adam Eaton, even Trevor Plouffe and Brandon Belt to an extent. Mark Reynolds can often hold some value, but he's so streaky you kind of just want to get him off the wire when he's hot. Adam Dunn is still available. I'm kind of surprised. A guy with 41 homers last season, albeit with a 204 average. He's definitely on the downside of his career, but those 40 home runs should have been enticing to somebody in this draft, right? I guess they're not enticing to me, so who am I to speak for anybody else? Anyway, we're looking at relief pitchers here. I want to load up on closers so that I can stream starters in and out of the lineup. Jesus Montero was just selected. Pretty sure he was the guy who still needed a catcher. Oh no, that was the guy who took Willen Rosario. Okay, he took 2 catchers. Interesting. I do not recommend that strategy in a 1-catcher league. I said last round I was going to target Sergio Santos. I think I'm actually going to take Ernesto Freire instead, if only because Ryan Madsen is still coming back from Tommy John surgery. He hasn't started pitching yet, from what I understand. And between Sergio Santos and Casey Janssen, the other Toronto reliever, It's not totally clear who the closer is going to be once Casey Janssen is fully healthy, whereas Frary is almost certainly going to start the year as the Angels closer, and that might just be good enough. With that said, next round, if Santos is available, I might still just take him. Hisashi Iwakuma is another guy I'm looking at here. He's hopefully someone will be able to use one of my later picks on. In fact, maybe I should just take him now if I want him, because I could get another closer later. We've got 2 auto drafters in between now and then. And who do these guys have? That guy still needs a pitcher. That guy has 3 bench spots going. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of want Frary. He's a strikeout machine for a reliever, so we'll see. There are plenty of starting pitcher kind of prospects that I'm still interested in available. Besides Iwakuma, like Shelby Miller's another one. James McDonald on the Pirates. Even Sean Markham on the Mets is not terrible at this point in the draft, and he's really down here in the ESPN rankings. Number 296 overall. That's pretty incredible to me, to be honest. I'm just going to keep going because the auto draft is keeping this half of the draft pretty quick. Yeah, I'm going to throw Markham on my queue too. Between Markham and Iwakuma, I should be able to get a last round pick pitcher that I want. I think Santos is going to come to me right here. I could also hold off on a closer and then just take whoever's left at the end, whether it be Bruce Rondon or Bobby Parnell or Jose Veras, the supposed Astros closer, because I do like Iwakuma. I'm going to gamble and say that Iwakuma comes back. I'm going to take Santos now, load up on closers like I said I would. And, yeah, overall, this team seems okay. It's not my best effort, I must admit. The Todd Frazier thing was just a classic not paying attention mistake. I got lazy. But I do like the squad in general. I'm definitely going to be fine on steals, which is something that my draft strategy often leaves me wanting more of. So I think I have enough speed. I'm worried that maybe I sacrificed too much power for that speed. I'm also banking a lot on Adrian Gonzalez, which is definitely a little risky after the year he had last year. I do expect to bounce back. This team's biggest weakness is probably batting average, if only because I have guys like Brandon Moss, Carlos Gomez, and Everth Cabrera in my starting lineup. Hopefully the counting stats that those guys provide will make up for it. My starting pitching is also a bit of a weak point, but this is the way I draft. These are the teams I go for, so I'm not too concerned about that either. With Latos, Johnson, Peavy, and Sanchez is like my core group of starters. I feel pretty good about that, and I should be able to do really well in saves having loaded up on them, that if Frary or Santos loses his job early in the season, I can just drop that person for either another reliever or just start streaming with that spot in my lineup, or just pick up another hitter to help me out there. What else do I want to say about this team? Not a whole lot. I'm glad I got Salvador Perez as late as I did. If someone had taken Willen Rosario earlier, I would have had to make that catcher pick sooner. So that was nice. Yeah, in general, I like this team. It seems pretty well-rounded. There aren't a whole lot of glaring holes, but I don't see, it doesn't make me jump for joy looking at the squad either. Guys being selected right now: Alex Cobb, Edwin Jackson, Ryan Ludwig, Phil Hughes, Marco Estrada, Brian McCann, Clay Buchholz, Michael Kadire, Cameron Maben. People are just going for upside at this point, or taking, I don't know, hole-plugging players, it seems, in the case of a guy like Ryan Ludwig. There is upside there. He definitely has some power to display, but it seems like guys like that, streaky power hitters, are somewhat easy to come by on the waiver wire, so I'm not too interested in guys like that. There's one pick left here before I come up. If all things go well, it'll be Hisashi Iwakuma, and that'll round out the draft. Let me know in the comments if you have any feedback on this team or on this format of draft video. I'll be getting a Yahoo video in as soon as possible, and maybe another one of these, or NL only or AL only, or something like that. I'll mix it up and keep it interesting. I was thinking about doing an auction, but I'm pretty sure that would just be too much video content, because it'd be hard to choose which players to show, or which bids to show, I suppose. And I don't want to be recording videos that take 3 hours, to be honest. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Keep it dialed to the Fake Baseball for more of these draft videos and a bunch of other great content from all of our other writers. Tommy Hansen was just taken. I think that was an auto pick. He's pretty risky this year. So, Iwakuma, welcome to the team. Viewers, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Adios.